MLit in Theatre Studies at the University of Dundee is an exciting initiative to bring together all aspects of theatre, from directing to stage design to playwriting and more, into one highly practical, innovative programme that delivers students right into the heart of understanding theatre practice. Through their involvement with teachers and professionals, artists and scholars, technicians and academics, and crucially, through working with Dundee Rep Theatre in a practical, hands-on way, each individual can grow and develop his or her particular interests in theatre in a course of study that is unlike any other available in the UK, emerging with a postgraduate degree that is both distinctive and highly vocationally oriented.
There are other postgraduate theatre studies degrees in Scotland, but maybe there isn't one that works as practically as this, in terms of actually getting students in to a working theatre to see what it's all about.
I think that's right. I think that's what makes this unique, the MLit unique, is because it gives them a chance to get into the building and to be working alongside professionals right from the word go. The postgrad here is that what they're doing is that they've kind of had contact time throughout the year that kind of supports that academic study, which is really fantastic. It gives them a chance to kind of get to know the artistic directors, to get to know the marketing teams, to get to know the production and performance elements of the organisation. And I think actually just getting to know those different strands of an organisation is really valuable, because that's what quite often what you don't do when you're just studying in academic terms is you don't necessarily get to know the marketing department because you're specifically studying directing, for example, so you're only ever going to attend a rehearsal room. Whereas this makes that learning much broader and actually puts them at the coalface as well.
So I think it's a real working theatre in the true sense of the word. It's not a writer's theatre, it's not a director's theatre, it's not an actor's theatre, but it happens to be all three, very predominantly so. And as an actor, I'm particularly proud because there is this tradition of repertory playing and a company, and people who've been working here for well over 10 years.
I've always thought that Dundee Rep had a little bit of a university about it anyway, because we're made up of three separate strands: the acting ensemble, the theatre company, then secondly the Scottish Dance Theatre, which is like Scotland's national contemporary dance theatre company based here at Dundee, and then having our creative learning department, the biggest in the country. It is like a kind of campus already, the way in which we all work together. So I think that in a way doing the creative campus with the University of Dundee was the inevitable next step just waiting to happen.
It's a connection between what I call practical theatre and sort of academic theatre. And because there's actually a working theatre beside it, and just geographically the way the university is placed beside the Repertory Theatre, Dundee Rep, it seems to me a kind of logical extension and a link, a conduit between the two establishments. And the MLit is the perfect vehicle for that.
The MLit programme is unique because it is the only one that I know of that is firmly rooted in an academic university context. They get all the backup that you would expect from a university environment, but actually a lot of the delivery of the training is taking place in a working theatre. And given that a postgraduate theatre studies degree has to be practical and vocational, it makes complete sense that it's a working theatre that is providing the actual place that you do that work in.
And I think that people who have been doing the course have discovered that they can devote more time than they thought to in the past. And that actually it is all about the conversation, which is what all education should be about, is eavesdropping on the conversation, and that's what you pick up on. So in a sense, it's perfect, and it covers a fairly broad spectrum of theatre.
So I think it was really, really interesting when we started in semester one, and having had no experience of ever being in that sort of theatre working environment, how it wasn't what you expected. You learned how everybody worked with each other, as well as the different ways that you thought, you know, you had your sort of you imagined that this would be what marketing was like, and this might be like what box office was like, and this was what up in wardrobe was like, and then you actually went along and it sort of blew a lot of preconceptions out of the water.
Because theatre studies, I mean, that is nothing if not vocational.
Yeah.
And this is a way of trying to make it truly practical.
Yeah.
And not just academic.
Yeah, and give them exactly, give them an opportunity to try it on the floor, as it were, rather than just reading books about it.
I guess it's that difference between, you know, there's this, of course you could do it at university and you could learn on paper, and I suppose that's all very well and good, but actually physically being there and doing it physically, I think you learn in a different way, and I would argue that you maybe learn faster, you learn more, you're more involved, rather than just doing all the theory and writing about it. Actually being immersed in the workings of it was really good. Mm-hmm.
The theory is great, but without the sort of the practical experience to go along with it, you'd find yourself, especially going into the workplace afterwards, you'd find yourself almost lost. I know it's certainly a problem I had after my undergraduate degree. I didn't have enough of the sort of practical experience to back up what I'd already learnt, so that aspect for me has been particularly helpful as well. Yeah.
And it gives people an opportunity to get involved with elements of the organisation that maybe they didn't do before, and it makes that learning more structured. You know, it puts it right across the organisation. It really formalises that, which is really great.
And I think all of that together makes it a completely unique training offer. There isn't anyone else doing quite the same thing.
Semester 2, for both the directing module and the design module, the rep was heavily involved, whether it be Leela coming in to help with design, or the workshops we've had here with Philip and Jemima as well have also been great, and we've been able to sit in the rehearsal process, you know, get sort of really hands-on experience, sort of understanding the process. I was completely new to it, so
and everyone's been so
definitely helped me a lot.
welcoming as well.
Absolutely,
you know,
yeah.
It's been like you feel like you're sort of part of the gang. Everyone's gone
You
out
do,
their way
yeah.
to sort of help you and share their knowledge with you, which is it's definitely once in a lifetime opportunity.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it has moved on, because it has always reinvented itself and always also gone through sort of kind of endless metamorphosis, and I think that's what's always healthy about it. It doesn't sit back on its laurels. It's always been ahead of the game. The marker, I think, for this theatre, it's always been inventive and always gone further, and it's always pushed the envelope.
Braves at my command have waked their sleepers out and let them forth by my so potent